My name is Sarah Tuft, and I'd like to share with you how my family grows apples. We're here in western Colorado in the North Fork Valley in the small town of Hotchkiss, Colorado. Farming apples is a year-long process and begins in the springtime. Let's go out to the apple orchard and look at some blossoms. Did you guys know apples grow on trees? Did you know they start out as a flower? These little flowers right here are going to become apples in the fall. It's springtime right now, and the bees are going to come in and pollinate them, and then in the fall they're going to turn into big, juicy apples. Honeybees are really important to growing fruit. They pollinate the blossoms. The bees will fly around from one flower and pick up pollen and then deposit it into another flower, and this is called pollination. Without honeybees, the flower will never turn into an apple. Every apple tree gives off a bud, and in the springtime, each bud gives off 5 blossoms. Each one of those blossoms could become an apple, so we have to thin the blossoms so that we can protect the apple tree so it can save its energy for the following year. Every apple farmer thins their blossoms so they have a consistent and healthy apple crop each season. Now we're going to introduce you to Edward Tuft, owner and founder of Wacky Apple. He's going to tell you a little bit about what organic farming is, why we do it, and how long he's been doing it.
60 years, a million more.
I've been farming organic apples here in the North Fork Valley of Colorado for some 40 years now. Farming organically is a way of life. It's not a business, it's a way of life. To find the earth in better shape this year than we had it last year, and better the following year, and in 10 years it'll be better yet. The frogs have come back to our farms for the first time in 30 years. The birds and the bees live here. The worm population under the soil is fabulous. Part of our organic farming program is to use the water that flows out of the mountains. And the mountains that you can see is just behind me. And literally the canal that brings water to this farm flows right out of the heart of the Colorado Rockies. Once we use the water for irrigation, that crystalline water flows right back into the Gunnison River and on down to the Colorado. There's no pesticide residues, there's no nitrates. This is clean water. Another part of our organic farming program is to grow our own fertilizer. We take and plant alfalfa and clovers underneath our trees so that in the fall we can disc that green manure into the soil and creating our next year's nutrient for the trees. It's vital to our program. It's so vital to farm organically because the soil is better now. The soil, when I came here, you couldn't reach into the earth. It was rock hard. Now there's tilth to the soil. Now the soil, the nutrients of the earth, is everything that it takes to grow great, healthy organic apples.
In organic agriculture, we use multiple different methods to fertilize our apple trees. The 3 basic elements of fertilizer are NPK. N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphorus, K stands for potassium. One of the methods we use to fertilize our trees is with compost we make here on the farm. We take all the extra apple pulp, mix it with local manure, wood chips, and sawdust, and let it sit for a year where we'll have organic fertilizer the next summer. Each year, every apple tree gets a little bit of compost, which feeds the worms. The worms give off nitrogen and other nutrients that are important for healthy tree growth. Worms are natural soil tillers. They loosen the dirt while they tunnel around so the air and water can get to the roots. Another source of fertilizer that we use is alfalfa. We plant it amongst the apple trees and we cut it down and till it into the soil so that it can break down and turn into nitrogen to feed the apple trees. The phosphorus is naturally occurring in our Rocky Mountain soil from all the rocks and minerals that are already present. We get the potassium from the apple pulp and the carbon that we put into the compost that we feed to the apple trees every year. At a basic level, the nitrogen promotes leaf growth, the phosphorus promotes root growth, and the potassium promotes flower and fruit growth. Let's take a look at the fruit. Here we are, back in the orchard. It's now midsummer. Early spring, these trees were covered with pink and white flowers that the bees pollinated and now have grown into little baby apples. These apples are about halfway through their life cycle. For the next month or two, they're going to sweeten up, ripen up, grow to their full potential, where in the fall, we will harvest delicious organic apples. We're planting more apple trees now, so we have more apples in the future. We are planting little baby apple trees. They're literally just a little twig that we plant in our nursery, and they stay there for about a year so they can grow to be stronger, where we'll transplant them into the orchard. And they will grow for 3 to 4 years before they produce apples. By year 4, they'll produce a small crop, and by year 6, they'll be fully producing apple trees. Our farm crew is really passionate about growing our apple trees, so they spend a lot of time pruning, nurturing, fertilizing to grow that tree into the best healthy producing apple tree it can be. So it's fall here in Colorado, which means it's apple harvest. Those apple blossoms you saw early this spring are now ripe and ready to be picked, delicious and ready to go straight to the schools. We have naturally sweeter apples here because we have these cold, crisp nights off the cold Rocky Mountains and warm days, which naturally raises the sugar content in our fruit. So we have naturally sweeter apples and naturally sweeter apple products. In the fall, once the apples are fully ripe, we carefully hand pick them, put them into wooden bins, and then transport them to our processing facility. Now let's take a look at how these apples become delicious Wacky apple snacks. To show you how it's done is our Vice President, Deborah.
Do you know how many apples are in those bins? There are 800 pounds, which translates to over 3,000 apples. That's a lot of apples in a bin. And we bring in a lot of those bins. We blend a variety of apples: Fuji's, Honeycrisp, Gala, Goldens, Red Delicious, Romes, the list goes on. We blend those apples so that the sugar content reaches a certain level. We want to make sure your applesauce is healthy. As you can see, the apples are being dumped down on the sorting line, where they're washed and sorted, ensuring that only the best apples go into your applesauce. When the apples go into the machine that turns it into puree, all of the seeds, the stems, the parts of the apple that you don't want to eat come out the other side, are collected and then hauled off to a compost pile. Once the puree comes out of the machine, it's piped over to great big 500-gallon tanks. We have the opportunity to add different organic fruits. When we want to make wild berry organic applesauce, we add organic blackberries. When we want to make cinnamon applesauce, we add cinnamon. Once it reaches the correct temperature for pasteurization, it goes into a fully automated machine where the product is then pumped into 4-ounce cups. They're checked to make sure they're fully sealed before going into a spiral that cools them down. The temperature is far too hot to package at that point in time, so they have to be cooled. After the product is cooled and comes out of the spiral, the applesauce cups are checked again. Then the product is sleeved and boxed and shipped to our customers. We have a fantastic team of 10 people on the production line turning out your applesauce every day. We also pack Wacky apples here. Those are fresh apples. The apples come in and go through a sizing chain. The big apples and the little apples are taken out so we have just the right size left for kids, and then box up those Wacky apples for the school kids.
So now you guys know how apples grow, now you need to know how nutritious they are. Not only are they delicious, but they're a superfood. Apples are naturally high in vitamin C, high in fiber. They naturally lower cholesterol and the risk of heart disease. Not to mention, they're high in the antioxidant quercetin, which helps your body absorb oxygen for better endurance. An apple a day really does keep the doctor away.
Honey, it's you I do adore. Whether bright sunshine